Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today, we are going to understand the structure of the English language. By the end of this lesson, you will clearly understand how language is built step by step. The English language is made up of 5 main parts that work together to create meaning. These parts help us understand how words are formed and how sentences are constructed. Think of this like building a house. Small parts come together to make something bigger. First, we have morphemes. A morpheme is the smallest unit of meaning in a language. It cannot be divided further without losing its meaning. Now, there are two main types of morphemes. A prefix is added at the beginning of a word to change its meaning. For example, unhappy. Un means not, so it changes the meaning to not happy. A suffix is added at the end of a word. For example, teacher. Er at the end shows a person who performs an action. So morphemes help us understand how words are formed and how their meaning changes. Second part of the language is word. A word is a complete unit that has meaning and can stand on its own. They are composed of different letters. For example, run is a word, book is a word. Unlike morphemes, words can be used independently in sentences. Next, we have phrase. A phrase is a group of words, but it does not give a complete meaning. For example, in the room. We don't know what is happening, so it is incomplete. Also, a phrase does not have both a subject and a verb together. Now, there are different types of phrases depending on their function. First, we have noun phrase. It consists of a noun or pronoun and any modifiers, determiners, or adjectives that provide more information about the noun. For example, the bright sun. Second is verb phrase. It includes a main verb and any auxiliary verb along with objects, complements, and adverbs that modify the verb. For example, he is playing the guitar. Third, we have adjective phrase. It contains an adjective and any word that modify or describe the adjective. For instance, the cake was extremely delicious. Then we have adverb phrase. It comprises of an adverb and any word that modify or provide more detail about the adverb. For example, she speaks very softly. Then we have prepositional phrase. It consists of a preposition, its object, and any modifiers. For example, the cat is hiding under the table. A participle phrase starts with a verb form like running or excited, and it usually describes something. Then a gerund phrase also uses ing, but it acts like a noun. For example, swimming in the pool can be a subject or object. Last, we have an infinitive phrase. It starts with to plus a verb like to travel or to become. Fourth main part of the English language is clause. A clause is stronger than a phrase because it has both a subject and a verb. It is the building block of a sentence. For example, she is happy. This is complete. But because she was tired is not complete on its own, so clauses can be complete or incomplete. Now, there are two types of clauses. Independent clause, also known as main clause, it stands alone as a complete sentence because it expresses a complete thought and contains both a subject and a predicate. For example, she went to the store. Next, we have dependent clause, also known as a subordinate clause. It cannot stand alone as a complete sentence because it does not express a complete thought. It relies on an independent clause to form a complete sentence. For example, Because she was tired, dependent clause often starts with subordinating conjunctions like because, although, if, when, while, and so on. Last, we have sentence. A sentence is a complete idea. It must have a subject, meaning who or what we are talking about, and a predicate, meaning what is happening. For example, she is reading a book. This gives a full meaning. Sentence is the basic unit of communication in written and spoken language. A sentence typically consists of one or more clauses, each containing a subject and a predicate. Now, sentences can be divided into different types depending on different factors. We will just introduce them here and study them in detail later. Based on purpose, sentences can be statements, questions, commands, or expressions. Each type serves a different purpose in communication. Based on structure, sentences can be simple or more complicated depending on how many clauses they contain. And sentences can also be categorized based on time, whether they talk about the present, past, or future. So, we have seen how the English language is built from the smallest unit to complete sentences. We started with morphemes, then moved to words, phrases, clauses, and finally sentences. Each part has its own role, but together they help us communicate clearly. If your basics are strong, grammar will become much easier for you. Thank you for watching. If you found this video helpful, please like, share, and subscribe for more English grammar lessons.